Hey, what's up guys, Will here for GSM Arena. There are a couple of Xiaomi Poco phones which are quite similar feature-wise. The first is the more recent Xiaomi Poco F6. And then there's the Poco X6 Pro, which came out a few months before that. If you're planning to get a Poco phone, which one is the better choice? Let's put the two head-to-head and find out. The Poco F6 and Poco X6 Pro belong to two different price categories, but they offer largely the same user experience. The Poco F6 is a newer flagship-killing mid-ranger that brings plenty of bang for your buck. Meanwhile, the Poco X6 Pro came out a while back and is priced about €100 cheaper. Be careful not to get the Poco X6 Pro confused with the Poco F6 Pro, which is a different beast entirely. There's little difference between the Poco F6 and the Poco X6 Pro in terms of size and weight. Both phones have an option for a plastic back, though the X6 Pro can come with a vegan leather backing too. There's a plastic frame on either phone. The Poco F6 does have higher rated ingress protection though, at IP64 versus IP54 on the X6 Pro. That means the F6 is better protected against dust. Both phones have a 6.67-inch OLED with a high 1220p resolution and a 120Hz refresh rate. There is a difference in the screen glass. The Poco F6 uses Gorilla Glass Victus, a step up from the Gorilla Glass 5 on the X6 Pro. Otherwise, you get the same performance on either phone. In addition to the matching size, refresh rate, and resolution, the two OLED screens support Dolby Vision and HDR10+ video, and offer a similar high max brightness, at over 1000 nits. When it comes to audio, both phones have stereo speakers, with similar max loudness. The Poco F6's setup is better sounding though, with more bass and nicer sound at high volumes. You get the same storage options on either phone, 256 or 512 gigs, which is not expandable through microSD. Both of these Xiaomi phones run on the same software, the latest HyperOS on top of Android 14. You can check out our dedicated video about HyperOS to find out more about its specific features. Like I mentioned, the Poco F6 is the more expensive device, and it brings a better chipset, Qualcomm's new Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. The Poco X6 Pro uses a MediaTek chipset, a Dimensity 8300 Ultra. It's still a very capable chip, but slightly less powerful than the F6's. When looking at the benchmarks, you can see that the Poco F6's advantage is small when it comes to CPU-related tasks. However, it does have a significant lead when it comes specifically to graphics performance. Because of this, the Poco F6 appears to be the better choice for heavy gaming, but for other tasks, the Poco X6 Pro is just as good. The X6 Pro also has a slight advantage when it comes to battery life, likely because its chipset is more efficient. Both phones have the same battery capacity, but the X6 Pro earned a higher active use score of 11 hours and 46 minutes, versus 10 hours and 36 minutes on the F6. Even though the Poco F6's charging is rated at 90 watts, while the X6 Pro's is 67 watts, there isn't much difference in charging speed. The F6 is faster within the first 15 minutes of charging, achieving 56% versus 47% on the X6 Pro. However, when comparing the time to full charge, the X6 Pro is only 6 minutes slower. And now onto the cameras. The Poco F6 has a 50-megapixel main cam and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide. There's a 20-megapixel selfie camera on the front. Meanwhile, the Poco X6 Pro has a 64-megapixel main cam, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide cam, plus a 2-megapixel macro camera. There's a 16-megapixel selfie cam as well. When it comes to the main cam, the Poco F6 has more laid-back processing with less sharpening, more natural-looking colors, and wider dynamic range. The X6 Pro's photos are punchier with more saturated colors, and additional sharpness too. At night, the F6 is the clear winner, with a more natural look, better contrast, nicer colors, and wider dynamic range. The X6 Pros have a lot of added sharpening, and look more artificial. The F6's ultra-wide photos are nicer than the X6 Pros. They have wider dynamic range, better contrast, and livelier colors. And at night, the F6's ultra-wide performance is better as well. When recording videos, the F6's main cam produces generally more natural-looking footage with wider dynamic range. The X6 Pro has punchier colors and a touch of artificial sharpness. But when looking at 1080p videos from the ultra-wide camera, the X6 Pro produces way nicer footage. Here's a comparison of the selfies taken with either phone. And of course, the selfie videos as well. So there you have it guys, the Poco F6 versus the Poco X6 Pro. For about $100 more, the F6 gives you better sounding speakers, a faster chipset, slightly faster charging, and better camera quality. On the other hand, the X6 Pro provides a very similar overall experience, while saving a chunk of cash. Its battery life is a bit better too. Between the Poco F6 and the X6 Pro, the difference in features appears to be well reflected in the price, so the better choice really depends on your own needs and budget. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.